Blizzard has ruined their reputation over the past few years. They always seem to be getting themselves into giant controversies, and just when talk about Blizzard starts to quiet down, there's something massive that drops about the workplace or the games they're creating. And of course, I'm sure you've all heard about Diablo Immortal. Years ago, it was a massive joke because they announced it was only releasing on mobile devices, and then they said, well, don't you all have cell phones? And they got roasted for it. But Immortal has finally released in its open beta, and the levels of greed Blizzard is showing with this game is astonishing because they expect you to pay over $110,000 to max out your character. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I wanted to start off with this article. It costs $110,000 to fully gear up in Diablo Immortal. There is no way around the levels of greed that Blizzard are showing with this game. I decided for release weekend, I was going to live stream it. I wanted to show the free-to-play experience because, of course, there are a lot of people who are showing off the paid experience, the things you can buy, what you get when you're buying them, but I wanted to give the gameplay a chance. I wanted to give the game itself a chance, and I wanted to show off the pay-to-win systems without actually spending money. And I've read Reddit posts on stream, I've read articles on stream, and this game has nothing good about it. The gameplay is mediocre, it looks outdated, it wasn't very fun, the UI is absolutely atrocious, and of course, the worst problem with this game is the pay-to-win system, is the cash shop. First of all, this game isn't even fully released yet, okay? All they released was an open beta, and they are allowing people to not only swipe their credit cards for microtransactions, but disgusting levels of microtransactions. Having launched ahead of its schedule just a few days back, Activision Blizzard's Diablo Immortal has been making headlines for a wide variety of reasons, not least of which is its microtransaction model. Namely, Diablo Immortal is a free-to-play game, and as such features a number of ways that players can support its continued development. Now, when we heard that this game was releasing and it was going to be a mobile game, we all figured it was going to be pretty pay to win, or it was going to have extremely greedy microtransactions, because that's how a lot of mobile games are. I'm not trying to hate on mobile games. Unfortunately, the monetization systems in them are usually terrible, and Diablo Immortal is no different. It says, while this approach to sustainability is rather commonplace nowadays, Diablo Immortal may have taken things a step further than most players may have expected. This is why I do not trust games journalists, because they're saying, oh, there's a number of ways for players to support its continued development, and it just took things a single step further than players expected. I mean, this is disgusting. It says, according to the YouTube channel Bellular News calculations, the game's unique monetization system is set up in a way that makes character min-maxing an exceedingly expensive endeavor. A criminally expensive system, may I add. It says the crux of the issue, as per Bellular News' recent video, is that Diablo Immortal allows players to buy so-called legendary gems. These are one of the character's 3 progression pillars alongside regular gear and XP level, and they dictate one's endgame tier progression beyond what is possible simply by reaching Diablo Immortal's level cap. As of right now, free-to-play players cannot earn top-rated legendary gems, which are only available via some of the game's monetization options, and fully maxing out a character effectively costs $110,000 in the game's current economy. Now, it is important to note that this is only one of the many monetization systems in this game, okay? There's also cosmetics, so you can buy whole gear sets for $20. You have to buy normal crests and legendary crests, and the legendary crests cost a little bit more money, and you get better drops in the group content. I mean, there are a bunch of different systems in this game, unfortunately. I mean, there is a base battle pass, and then there's a collector's battle pass that costs even more. There is a item called a Boon of Plenty, and you can buy up to 3 of them, and they're $9.99 each. I mean, there is so many different monetization systems in this game, it makes my head spin. And unfortunately, the wording here is correct. It says fully maxing out a character costs $110,000 in the game's current economy. And these are only the top rated gems right now. Okay, so this is the open beta. This is the content that will most likely release when the full game launches. Never mind half a year after the game comes out, or a year after the game has been released and they release new content. These gems will not be the best anymore, and then they'll release new gems and new things to buy, and then you have to spend even more money. Eventually, these gems that you're spending $110,000 on will become obsolete, and you have to swipe your credit card again. I mean, this is an absolutely disgusting way to put paid items into your game. I've always said it. I understand when there's free-to-play games, companies need to make money, and I'm usually someone who says there is a level of okay, in my opinion. Like, if you can buy cosmetics and skins for your gear, for your, armor sets and your weapons, that's okay as long as they don't have stats attached to them. If there's mounts where it doesn't provide any extra speed, it's just a cosmetic and things like that, I'm personally okay with, but this is something I don't think anyone could ever be okay with. And if we go on over to Twitter, Wyatt Cheng, who, of course, if you do not remember, is the game director for Diablo Immortal at Blizzard, decided to start responding to posts on Twitter. Now, Zizaran, who is of course, Blizzard content creator, he is a Twitch streamer as well. He covers a lot of Blizzard games. Decided to say what happened in 4 months, or are the gems not considered gear? And this was a post by Wyatt where he said that there's no pay to win in this game. You can't buy gear. It says, I normally lurk here on Diablo's Reddit. I like reading all the feedback and taking in the hot topics of the day. I think a reality check is warranted here. It says almost all of the facts presented in this post are fabricated. In Diablo Immortal, there is no way to acquire or rank up gear using money, which we know the lie detector determined that is now a lie. There is no 50-50 system on rank upgrade. The links cited as proof don't link to proof of the assertions at all. And then he also decides to clarify, you can choose from a variety of skin tones, including black, during character creation. I don't know why that was something that needed to be clarified, but Zizaran did post this on Twitter, and Wyatt decided to respond, and he's getting roasted for his response, it seems like. He said, hey Ziz, I have been pretty upfront in many interviews, though apparently not in this post, that gear was the 12 item slots. Aha! A clarification. It says, in many interviews, I also clearly state that money can advance gems and legendary gems. I'm sorry, this wasn't clear here, but a lot of people are saying it's still paying for gear upgrades. Somebody said literally one and the same. You get a piece of really great gear and then must spend a ton of money on gems for the gear to then be the really great piece of gear that it's meant to be. You are essentially peddling a shell of a game and franchise. Great job. And it's true. I see gems as pay to win. I don't think that it's not pay to win. Oh yeah, you don't have to buy gear, but you do have to buy the items that make the gear great. I mean, how terrible do you have to be to think that this is a good way out? This is a good way to save your ass. Gems, in my opinion, and in most players' opinions, are considered gear. You need them to be part of your gear, to make your gear better so you can be competitive at the end game. Unfortunately, I and many other people don't have any respect for Blizzard anymore. When I hear Blizzard and I look at Blizzard now, I think, oh, what is the next terrible thing they're going to come up with? What's the next bad monetization system? What's the next controversy they're going to get themselves into? And unfortunately, Diablo Immortal is not worth it. I would recommend you don't waste your time downloading it. You don't spend any money in the game. It is just not a good experience. But that's all that I really had to talk about in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.